TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views and interviews.
Hello and welcome to TravelWise podcast. I'm Phil Blizzard in Dubai, and this is very much an interview special as we take a look at adventure tourism with a chap called, he's often referred to as Guy in Dubai. His name is Paris Norriss. We talked to him about his activities, some of his TV shows, and various aspects of adventure tourism. But first, we have a lot of news from the world of aviation.
TravelWise News.
Well, we're starting with Air Arabia Abu Dhabi, the first low-cost carrier to fly out of the capital of the UAE. They had their maiden service recently to Alexandria in Egypt. And talking of low-cost carriers out of Abu Dhabi, another airline will be commencing services, but a few months down the road in October, Wizz Air from Europe, Eastern Europe in fact. They'll be flying to Egypt as well, but also to 5 European destinations from the capital, Abu Dhabi.
TravelWise News.
We've got news from Eithad and also Emirates, but before that, a bit further afield, British Airways in the United Kingdom have just announced they will be retiring their iconic 747 Boeing jet, the double-decker. They were due to retire their fleet in 2024. The fleet of around about 40 aircraft, 747 jumbo jets, will now not be flying again. Sad day for fans of the Boeing 747 in the British Airways fleet. Etihad, they're going to be resuming services from Abu Dhabi to China towards the end of this month, July the 27th, flying into Shanghai. Now, the carrier from Abu Dhabi has also announced a new fare structure on certain routes where if you're travelling light, which is hand luggage, you'll get a lower price ticket in the economy classification, and you'll be able to take up to 12 kg of luggage, which is split 7 kg for like a trolley or a large bag, and 5 kg for a handbag or a laptop bag.
TravelWise News.
Talking of aircraft, as we were just now with the British Airways 747, let's talk about the iconic A380, the Airbus A380, back in the sky after a rest of 4 months or so, with Emirates flying to London and Paris, and increasing the number of destinations with the A380 by flying into Amsterdam as of August the 1st, and with a second flight into London also starting on August the 1st. So good to see the A380 back in the skies. Emirates have also announced they'll be flying on August the 1st to Stockholm and Oslo on August the 4th, bringing their number of destinations on their network at the moment to 63. So that really is the latest news aviation-wise here on TravelWise. Now, talking of flying an aircraft, how would you like to take to the skies with, what should we say, a giant fan strapped to your back? Yes, indeed. Sounds highly dangerous to me. That's one of the activities, one of the adventure sports, which we'll be talking about with my special guest on this edition of TravelWise, talking with Paris Norriss next.
TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views and interviews.
Well, my special guest on the show today is Paris Norriss, who's, what should we say, an entrepreneur turned video TV presenter and producer. So, Paris, welcome along.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. So you've gone from being an entrepreneur with all sorts of companies, including, Most Compare or something like that here in the UAE, through to TV. How did all this happen?
Yeah, well, I kind of consider them both entrepreneurial ventures, actually, or, actually it's maybe 4 different ventures that I've set up in the 11 years that I've been here.
Right.
But, the TV thing, it actually came more out of a passion. It wasn't that I thought to myself, okay, let's try TV now. I was thinking, how do I make my next venture about all the things, how will it allow me to do all the things that I want to do in life? And I thought, well, what is it that I do want to do? And I thought, well, I love adventure, I love travel, I love extreme sports, and these types of things. And I thought, well, how on earth am I going to make money out of that? And I thought, okay, well, what about making a TV show about it and show people what to do and go on adventures? And then I started putting the pieces together.
And you still haven't made any money? You're doing what you want. You're passionate about it. Like so many of us in the media, we do it because we love it, we enjoy it. But when it comes to making lots of money, it's a different world. People don't realise that, do they?
I'm 2 million in debt, and I'm having a great time. No, I'm joking. So
I'm glad you're joking. So let me say something else. You are creative director at GID, which is Guy in Dubai Media Productions, and you host a show on OSN In Demand. What's that called?
Right. So GID Media is our production company, and so we have a small team, and we do essentially two things. We produce our TV shows, and then we also produce video content for other companies, whatever that is, customized content for them.
Sure.
But the TV shows, so we have Guy in Dubai, that on OSN, Emirates Airlines, Amazon Prime, and we're launching in Europe on a channel called ORF Sport Plus.
Okay, well done.
So
good.
Yeah, so that's our show, all about sort of adventures around the UAE. We then have done a special episode in Ireland where the Irish Tourism Board asked us to come over and do a sort of longer piece all around Ireland, which was great fun. So we did that last year.
Excellent.
And we're working on a few productions now in Saudi Arabia, as well as continuing the production in Dubai.
Well, Saudi Arabia is certainly going to be a place to go to once we can travel back in there on the other side of the very, very, very hot summer. I want to pick out on one. I saw you leaping around on the enormous water park over at JLT, over at Jumeirah. That looked like a lot of fun.
JBR.
Yeah, JBR. That looked like a lot of fun and a lot of energy involved in that. Must have been extremely worn out.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that wasn't one of our TV episodes, but we did a short video for that, and that was good fun. We exhausting actually.
Sure.
A lot more. It's called Aquafun, and it's a sort of inflatable water park. I think it's the biggest in the world, but he's making it bigger, and he actually has them all over the place. So it's a great thing to do. I mean, it's very hot now, and it is quite a tiring thing, but luckily you keep falling in the water. So it is actually one of the things that people can do over the summer.
Yeah, but Paris, you say falling into the water, it's like falling into a hot bath, as I found out this morning. So it is the water's pretty warm, to say the least.
TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views, and interviews.
I think I should first say that the UAE is a mecca for this place for extreme sport. So that's why I decided to do that. But other great places, Switzerland is incredible for outdoor adventure, whether it's the winter or the summer. Because obviously in the winter they've got the mountains and not just skiing, but they've got things like bobsleigh and luge and a whole load of things, as well as in the summer you've got the most incredible paragliding and paramotoring places, lots of treks and things like this. So the scenery there is incredible. So I managed to go to Switzerland earlier this year. So just before, it was luckily that one of the things I managed to fit in before the lockdown and before the crisis happened, and I'm really glad I did. It was incredible. And one of the things I found when I was there, because I did a bit of research, they have something called the Cresta Run, which is a skeleton luge, which has been around, I don't know, probably around 200 years. It's a very old one. And I looked at it and I thought, well, this might top my list in terms of the most insane things I've ever done. And it's essentially going headfirst down a bobsleigh run on a skeleton toboggan. And you reach incredible speeds, and it looks absolutely mental. So that was something I wanted to try, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to return at some point to give that a go.
Sounds hair-raising. You mentioned the lube there. That's where you lie flat on a belly board, more or less, isn't it? And go down these slopes at incredibly high speeds. So, okay. But I think you like doing airborne activities, don't you? Sort of paragliding or, you strap a fan to your back and sort of take off, don't you?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
A giant fan, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's so that's something new to me. I learned that over the last year, and it's fantastic because paramotoring and paragliding are the same, except for one has a motor on your back. Now, where that's helpful is if you're in an area that doesn't have mountains or elevations like hills. It means you can take off anywhere with a paramotor. So that's ideal for the UAE. If you were in Switzerland, for example, you might probably try paragliding because you don't need to have the motor on your back.
Hang on, Paris, hang on. I'm looking out the studio window and I'm here in Ras Al Khaimah, and these sort of activities are very popular because they use a strip of land opposite the Waldorf Hotel and take off with the motor on their back, flying over the bay and the lagoon here. Hold on.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm getting very close.
Yeah, that's exactly where I do it. I do it with Sky School UAE, and they've got a camp there. And basically the course, it takes about 3 to 5 days before you can get your first flight, but then you have to go through 15 different flights in order to get your pilot license, and that includes doing a 30-kilometer cross country and things like this. So, and it's incredible because, as you can imagine, well, first of all, it's the quickest, easiest, cheapest way to learn how to fly. So, if you wanted to buy all the equipment, it would cost you about 40 to 50,000 dirhams, which sounds like a lot of money, but it's not anything like an aeroplane. So it's much cheaper, and you can learn fairly quickly, and then voila, you're up in the air, you're flying over the sand dunes and in between mountains, and you can fly very close proximity without causing too much disturbance to anybody, and you get the most breathtaking views and sights around the world. So it's incredible.
So there you go, up and away. And that's what we're going to do, is we sort of race around the UAE looking at some of the key areas for activities, adventure tourism, extreme sports. So, I mean, let's have a quick run through. We've got, Ras Al Khaimah, just mentioned. You've got Dubai, the Hatta area there. Abu Dhabi out towards Liwa and the Rub al Khali, the empty quarter, which is great for massive sand dunes and sandboarding and motoring across those dunes. So where do you like to go, and what do you like to do in different locations across the UAE?
TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views, and interviews.
Yeah, well, there's many actually, and I'm still discovering them now, even though I've been here 11 years. I do love Ras Al Khaimah because you've got quite a lot of variety there. You've got the mountains, and then you've also got the desert, and it's got quite an interesting desert. I recently just went to the Ajman mangroves, which was incredible because I didn't really know what a mangrove actually is, but it's a saltwater forest.
You were kayaking around, were you? Because I'm going to be off there next week.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I that was brilliant. We went with a company called Quest for Adventure, and we were able to kayak through the mangroves. But at certain points, the trees sort of form a tunnel. So you're sort of going through these little sort of waterways, which was great. And those forests have been there 8 million years. So, long time. And not only do they have them in Ajman, but they have them in Abu Dhabi and Umar Quaim. And I think there's 7.
And Ras Al Khaimah as well. So, they are becoming more and more popular all the time when it comes to kayaking around. So, okay, where else? What about Hatta? What do you like about Hatta? I mean, there's quite a lot going on in Hatta, from jumping into the pools in the in the wadis.
Well, what I love about Hatta is how it's transformed over the years, because I remember I used to live in Oman, and Hatta was just the spot that you drove through to get between Oman and Dubai. But now there's actually a lot to do there.
There is.
The dam is incredible. You can go kayaking on the dam, and the pictures you can take from there are really eye-opening. And now Marathon's got a whole adventure zone there with slides and like a water park and all sorts of things that you can do there, which I have to say I haven't tried yet, but my friend has, and it did look a lot of fun.
There's a lot,
and then they've got lots of mountain biking there too.
They've got a trail system up there now, a bit like skiing. So you have colour-coded trails for hiking around the mountains, which is going to be good in the cooler months. And Hatta really opens up. I can tell you it's going to be reopening the camping zones and camping parks October onwards, just been announced. So that's good news. So let's finish off. Let's have a quick look ahead to what you might have planned when it comes to some future TV productions.
Okay, well, I'm working on a few things now. So essentially, each of my episodes shows how you can go about going on an adventure or learning some kind of new skill. So some of the things I've got left to learn, I'm learning skydiving. So that's something that's still on my list to do. I'm also going to be learning to get my actual plane license. So that's, again, going to sort of open up the world of adventure a little bit further. And then, we're also looking at creating more. We've got episodes lined up at the end of the year in Saudi Arabia, as I mentioned, because obviously they're opening up to tourists and really wanting to showcase that and show what they have there. So that would be very interesting.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot to showcase there. So on that note, I'll just say, by the way, when it comes to flying, I've done a couple of lessons from the flying school in Fujairah. It was great. So flying alongside the Hajar Mountains and the Indian Ocean on the other side. So that's a good place to learn to fly as well. So Paris, thanks very much indeed for joining us on the Travel Show.
Pleasure.
And good luck with your productions, and try and stay cool during these hot summer months doing your extreme sporting activities.
And yourself, Phil. Thanks very much. It's been interesting talking to you.
Great stuff.
TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views, and interviews.
And many thanks to Paris Norriss for joining me on this edition of the TravelWise podcast. Reminds me very much of my early days of broadcasting when I did a series on BBC Local Radio called Phil's Adventure, part of a Saturday afternoon programme where I went off and did all sorts of things, from hang gliding to clay pigeon shooting through to even, remember, hard hat diving, those great big suits which divers would put on to go down to underwater pipes and obstacles. Even had a go at one of those. Fabulous stuff. Anyway, many, many thanks to Paris Norriss, and we'll have more interviews coming your way on our weekly TravelWise podcast.
TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views, and interviews.
TravelWise is a Phil Blizzard radio production. Email me at philblizzardmedia@gmail.com.
A Phil Blizzard radio production.
TravelWise with Phil Blizzard. News, views, and interviews.